Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the FiredUp Network for late Monday evening, January the 2nd. Tonight's Monday Night Football was most anticipated, like myself and Anthony K talked about earlier on Game Time. It was the most anticipated game in recent memory on Monday Night Football between the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. Uh, Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals, 5 minutes left, maybe 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Cincinnati up 7-3. We had something that hasn't been seen in the NFL. Damar Hamlin, number 3, a safety for the Buffalo Bills, was making a tackle on T. Higgins. He got up and he collapsed. He received medical attention, got CPR. Uh, the game was temporarily postponed, and then it was postponed. As you know, Buffalo is my favorite team. I have a lot of contacts in Buffalo. I have a friend who's very tight with some players, and this is the update I got. Update on Damar. His vitals are back to normal, and they have put him to sleep to put a breathing tube down his throat. They're currently running tests. So, again, that's the latest update I have heard uh, from him or a source. Now, the NFL released a statement earlier today or an hour ago. Tonight's Buffalo Bills Cincinnati Bengals game has been postponed after Buffalo Bills Damar Hamlin collapsed. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced Hamlin received immediate medical attention on the field by team and independent medical staff and local paramedics. He was then transferred to a local hospital where he is in critical conditions. Our thoughts are with Damar and the Buffalo Bills, and will be providing information as it becomes available. Very scary situation. Again, Buffalo Bills safety, number 3, Damar Hamlin, age 24 years old. I believe he has 6 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 60 tackles, 1.5 sacks this year. But football is a game. Life is life. They temporarily postponed the game, and then they postponed the game about an hour later. I don't know. First of all, the NFL did an amazing job, and I got to credit both the Buffalo Bills and coach Sean McDermott and Cincinnati's coach as they came on, because it sounded like the NFL was going to give them a 5 minute intermission and then sort of play with it and everything like that. But kudos for the players and the coaches for stepping up. We got Marty Roberts coming in here. Marty, as you could see, we have never done a show like this. Breaking news, and I should just announce here on the Fired Up Network audio side, where I usually do the Raw Wrestling update, there will not be an update tonight. There will not be an update tonight. On a side note here, Team Canada beat Slovakia 4-3. Connor Bedard, amazing goal, overtime. I'm not going to say anything about it. Marty, you witnessed most likely what happened with a Buffalo Bill safety number 3, Damar Hamlin. Go ahead, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, it was it was very disturbing. It looked like just a normal hit, right? Like he took the shoulder to his chest from it. I believe it was Higgins, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And he stood up and he just collapsed. And you know, performing CPR, not breathing on his own. They got a pulse back. You've seen a lot more gruesome injuries. Yes, you have in NFL, but this was probably one of the most serious ones that I can remember. Like I've never seen anything like that. A 24-year-old kid. Parents were there watching. It brings into perspective that these athletes go down the field and they don't know what's going to happen from one second to the next, and his career is probably going to be over, but hopefully he survives. Like all reports are, they're saying now that he's back to breathing and putting a tube down his throat to help him with his breathing. So you know what, Joe? It was very. I was watching it. I switched from the World Juniors over to it after it ended, and my heart sunk. It really did, and watching them talk about it and not knowing what was happening, and then reading reports about the officiating was saying we're going to give you 5 minutes to get back. To me, the game is done. If they have to make it up at some point, yes, it's the end of the season. But you know what? His life is more important than anything else that happens.
Yeah.
These other players on the field are not. They don't care if they even got back. Okay, yes, he's breathing. He's at. This is something that they just witnessed that is not going to allow them to stay mentally uh, in the game if they came back to play. I saw a tweet from Skip Bayless. I think honestly, Skip Bayless is one of the biggest jackass I've ever seen. I
What
don't
was that
watch his
tweet?
stuff. His tweet was that the game should be going on because it's a crucial game and because it's near the end of the season. Pretty much saying that let's forget about that. This young kid could possibly die from this, and let's continue on because it's a crucial time in the season to play. I don't watch Skip Bayless. I never have. I only see stupid tweets when other people retweet him as to what he said. If Sharp does not give him a left hook to the side of his head next time he sees him, and all other athletes stop talking to this guy because he's an absolute moron for making that comment. And reading that just absolutely pissed me off that he gave no care whatsoever to DeMar's health and what had just happened.
People are in it for the money, and when you see the players, Stephon Diggs, one of the best wide receivers in the league, tears running down. What got to me, and I knew it, because Buffalo Bills coach Sean McDermott is ice cold at best of times. Doesn't smile, doesn't, yeah, but he went down on a knee, and he was tearing up there, and I knew
I
this,
just don't
and then I
understand
saw
why it
Josh
took the
Allen's
NFL
face.
so long, Joe. I do not
You know what?
beyond.
What took NFL? That's another thing that we're going to talk about, because this. First of all, I never say this, but ESPN did an awesome job today. Awesome, Booger McFarland in the studio on. He was
Yeah,
tearing up, and I felt bad for him because he had to talk, and they were forcing him to talk, but they did an awesome job. Now he collapsed about, I think, at 8:55. They said,
yep, yep.
and then he got 10 minutes of CPR, and then they still an hour later, they decided to cancel the game outright. This game was not going to be played. I don't care what they said, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. You could see it from the coaches and the
Yep.
players. Joe Burrow went to Josh Allen and said sorry. You could see it in Joe Burrow's eyes. He did not want to play, and it happened to the other side, the other team.
Here's what I want to find out, and hopefully this comes out, whether the NFL want to continue to play this, and the players say there's no chance in hell we are playing this.
Yes, that I could
And
guarantee.
if that's the case, then NFL needs a change at the top. They definitely do. If they're putting this game above players' health, that just proves a point that has been said all along, that it's all about the big bucks for them, and they do not care
I
about
can
the athletes they put on the field.
I don't know 100%, but I guarantee you, as you were saying, they were talking it on TV. Oh, they're gonna be back 5 minutes. Then the players talked to the coaches, and the coaches came together. Very, I have to. McDermott and Cincinnati's coach came together and said, "No way, we're not playing. We're standing by you." Cincinnati's coach waited in the locker room area, came across to the Buffalo Bills, and both of them were talking. They looked like the commissioner and all that. The players and the coaches, I commend them, because if it's up to the greenbacks in New York, there, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
it's It's just I couldn't believe it. I tweeted that out. I couldn't believe that it was taking the NFL so long to decide to cancel this game. It wasn't going to be
And
the players
I'm
were
going to
not
tell you
letting it be
something
played.
else, Marty. I'm going to say something else. And seriously, okay, they canceled the game. Are you telling me I'm Josh Allen? Whoa, we'll play tomorrow at 7 p.m. Before I know what's going really happening, let me go
Yep.
visit my teammate. Because as you know, Marty, I wanted you on here because, we talk about, your grizzled young veteran, but all seriousness, you were a player. You see a teammate, doesn't matter. You're a player in AAA, double A, football, whatever. A player. You're all, and you've been friends, players, you're friends for 30, 50 years, right? You see a player going through what Damar Hamlin is going through. Can you play
Yep.
even tomorrow?
No, you're mentally not there. Like it's awfully tough to get your head back in the game. And so I've never been around something like that. I was back in my college days. There was a situation that had happened. We were going on a road trip, and one of our players got in a really bad car accident and was unconscious at the hospital. So we postponed the coach postponed leaving till the following day so we could get information on that player. And that was nowhere near the magnitude of what had just happened in this game. It's awfully tough to stay. It's not like it's a broken leg. It's not like he broke his arm. He had, heart attack. I don't know what the right wording is. I'm not a medical doctor, but something happened that put
When you
pressure
hear
on his heart.
CPR, when they're pumping you for
Yep.
CPR, it's a
Yep.
heart ailment. And that, I don't have to tell you, I don't want to get too personal here, but that there's situations with the brain paralyzed and all that. But a heart attack, it takes seconds.
Yep.
Seconds. It is a life or death experience.
And
Life
and
or
that's
death.
what they don't, Joe. They don't know like how long was he not breathing for before they actually started. Like there's all these things that will have to test to be further done once he's out of the woods for this. But it was very sad to witness it and just sit there and not know what was happening. And I don't even know the gentleman. I really don't. I just I'm a fan. I can't imagine what his family's going through, what his teammates are going through. It's going to be awfully tough. And you know what? He lives only about 4.5 hours away from Cincinnati, so he probably had a lot of people at that game watching. And
They
this
said the mother and you we're both dads. They said the mother was at the game, went down and in the in the ambulance with him. Imagine what goes through your mind
yeah,
for
it's
your mother.
and here's and I've talked about this before when people say athletes get paid so much money, and yes they do, but there's times where they do a lot of stuff that might end their career, could be life threatening. We've seen it in soccer a couple years ago where the player passed out on the sidelines there, had a heart attack. They had to do CPR on him over there. We've seen it in hockey where someone gets cut. Baseball line drives hit off people's heads. This is something that it's a game, but something serious can happen from it, and we seen it here, which looked innocent. It really did. It was just a normal tackle. There was nothing dirty about it. It was Higgins cutting in a little bit to get some extra yardage, and Damar trying to tackle him, and it got him in the chest with his shoulder. It looked innocent, but I was just Joe. I
But
was
he
just
got back
floored at.
up and then fell back down like
Yeah, he
he
stood up like it
collapsed.
was fine, and then just collapsed. Right, so I was just, it was disturbing watching it, and then to see how long they took to decide not to play this game. And I honestly think the players said there's not a chance we're going at that. There's not, and that forced the hands of the powers to be to say, okay, we'll figure this out at a later time. But if the players hadn't done that,
This game would
NFL
still
would
be
have
on.
forced them back on. And to me, NFL is wrong for that. And
It's
any
definitely
idiot like Skip Bayless as well should have his microphone taken away from him.
all I'm gonna say is let's hopefully thoughts and prayers go out to Damar Hamlin and all that, and the game, football, sports is a game.
Yep.
Game. game. It's not life. Like, live or die. People, life. You have people get, you know, heart attacks daily, and the only good thing, I don't want to mention wrestling, but I'll mention one thing. Jerry the King Lawler had a heart attack on the air in Montreal, 2011. And he says in interviews after, if he was not at Raw, he would be a dead man. So the only good thing, it looked like he got, CPR from the Bills doctors, the Cincinnati's doctors, independent doctors, and all
Yep.
that. So if there was anything, ever a good place to be having that, maybe it is on the
Well,
field.
you're right. They're all the best medical staffs that these two teams have are always at the games, and that might be a bit of a saving grace here that they didn't have to drive them all the way to the hospital to start getting this treatment. This was done right then and there, and that's why they didn't move them for 10, 15 minutes. They had to get everything stable before they could get him onto that to move him, because there could be a chance that en route he could pass.
Yeah.
But I hopefully this is something that he recovers and there's no lasting side effects from it. And if he gets back to playing football, great. Just hopefully he can live a normal life without any side effects from what happened just now.
So this is an update that I got, and I posted in our group there and all that. His vitals are back to normal, and they have put him to sleep to put a breathing tube down his throat. They are currently running tests. So I'm not saying it's out of the woods or whatever. It's, things are progressing. Hopefully he can make it and all that. But even he makes it, how like, I can't comprehend. Okay, so we postponed the game today, but we must play the game. How do you play a game 12, 15, 24 hours later?
It's going to be awfully tough for these guys to, unless they get some absolutely great news in the next 8-10 hours of his condition. It's still, yes, these guys know, like, don't get me wrong, athletes know when they're playing these games things can happen. They know this, right? They know that there's things that could happen to them when they're playing this game. Do they think it's going to happen to him? No, they don't. He didn't think this was ever going to happen to him, but it happened. So they know this is part of the game. But at the same time, when it does happen to you, it takes a toll. It really does. It takes, just seeing someone playing hockey get hit from behind, head first in the boards. That takes a toll on you, because you sit there and you're extremely distraught over what just happened. A friend of yours just got hurt, and in this situation, NFL players are very close knit, and one of their guys was unconscious, wasn't breathing on his own. Yes, he had a pulse at the time, but he wasn't breathing on his own. So it's scary, scary stuff. And I don't know if I'd be able to go back at it. Like, I really don't. It's a tough situation. Like I told you this, Joe, and this is a totally different thing. Than on Friday at work, I was physically assaulted, and I was punched in the side of my head. And that was 4 days ago, and I'm still livid at it. I'm
Okay, hold on,
still
hold on. Let's go back. You were assaulted. People don't know you. Should I mention the company you work
no,
for?
don't, no mention the
Okay,
company. But
so
I was,
you were assaulted. How are you doing right now? Like,
I'm,
was there?
physically I'm fine, but mentally I'm still struggling with it. I'm very irate about it. I'm still pissed off about it, and that that is nothing compared to what these guys are going through. So for me to still be holding a a grudge, being pissed off 4 days later and upset about this, these guys are not going to be able to strap it back on tomorrow to go through what they um, are supposed to do, play the game with someone that is so close to them, that is not necessarily out of the woods yet. There's probably like hours to go before they can consider him out of the woods. So for me, I understand the how mentally stressful this is going to be on them. And I can't see them saying, yeah, tomorrow we're going to play again. Maybe they wait and they see. Maybe it means nothing at the end of the season. Maybe they figure out some way to come about this. But the continuing of the game should be secondary to what happened on the field.
Amen to that. But I think we gave kudos to the players, and how much can the players say we're not playing this game? We're not going to play this game tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. We're not going to play till we, or are the players are going to be forced? Well, you guys got to suck it up. This is the last weekend of the year. There's games on Saturday. There's games on Sunday. The playoffs are starting. This is playoff seeding.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be honest with you. I had high hopes of the Buffalo Bills winning this game, and I said to you before, and I said it on air here when we did game time with Anthony here. Whoever won this game, if Buffalo wins, the Super Bowl comes to Buffalo, right? Because Buffalo gets home advantage and all that. Now, I don't even know, like the psyche of they lost Von Miller. Now this guy, and the way Hamlin went down, and it's not like you broke a leg or you even have a concussion or your neck, and you're carted off the field, and they always give like that. I'm gonna be okay, but my career is over or whatever. This is really a life or death situation that, like we said, it's not out of the he's not out of the woods, and we're talking 2.5 hours later.
Yeah, it's going to be awfully tough, Joe. It really is. Yes, they're going to have to play at some point again. They're going to have to try and put that this side, but it's going to be in the back of their mind, right? Unless you know something happens here in the next little while where it says that he's going to pull through this and he's going to be fine. It's still they saw it up close and personal, and it's a tough thing to witness and see, and then expect it to just carry on. It's tough. Yes, they're gonna have to. They play on Sunday or whatever it is. Yeah, they're gonna have to go out there and play and get their mind set. But if they had tried to force them to play today, to me, only more bad things could happen from that because guys are not mentally into what they're doing, which then in turn makes it more of a chance that more injuries were going to occur. So it was the right thing to cancel it. I'm just disappointed it took the NFL that long to decide to cancel it.
So again, Damar Hamlin now breathing on his own, and he's not out of the woods yet. But keep your fingers crossed. Thoughts and prayers with him. Uh, Hopefully in the night and all that. And like Marty, I'm gonna tell you, they are reading this and all that. They're gonna be forced to play tomorrow, and they're gonna be forced to play tomorrow, and they'll play it from the seventh. Buffalo was losing 7-3 with, I don't know, 6 minutes left, let's say. So it's gonna be 7-3. Cincinnati had the ball, but I think they're going to be forced. And I'm going to say forced because out of 52 players on that team and the other 52 in Cincinnati, so that's 104 players. I would say 100 won't want to play, and they're going to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
forced.
yeah. They're gonna have to play, and that anyone who can't play wants the team to finish playing the game. There's no question about that. But it's awfully tough. Like honestly, tomorrow, Wednesday is better than playing today. This is not like I don't know when they're going to make it up, but today should have been right away. Like as soon as teams left the field, it should have been decided. No, we're not playing. It should have been called down from the head honcho saying, no, this game is done. We'll figure it out later on. But you guys need to forget about this game and worry about Damar and what's happening with him right now.
And just a side note here, and this is I'm part of this mafia, Bills Mafia, but everybody I think today is part of Bills Mafia, okay? The Mar Hamlin's Community Toy Drive charity has gone from around 10,000 to 879,000 tonight. It has jumped 50,000 every 5 minutes update during the last 20 minutes. This is all Bills Mafia, and You know, I shouldn't say.
Well, I'll
I'm
tell you,
gonna
a lot
say,
of it will be from Cincinnati fans as well. A
yeah,
lot. I remember. I can't remember where it was, but I remember something that happened. It might have been the NFL as well, and the visiting team donated like hundreds of thousands of dollars to fans right after the incident happened. I can't remember it, but no, fans are good like that. Whether they doesn't matter what sport, they hate the other teams, but when they see something like this happen, they're all one. They're all fans of this sport, and they don't want to see anyone ever get hurt playing it.
again, in case you just tuning in, we have new viewers and listeners and all that. Buffalo, Cincinnati, the game of the year. Honestly, no, never been a Monday night game so late in the season with so much on the air. Um, Cincinnati was up 7-3. About 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, number 3, made a tackle on who was it? Higgins.
Higgins, yep.
Yeah, Higgins, and then normal tackle, looked everything okay. Got back up and collapsed. Then reports had it that some people thought he had whatever a neck and all that, but then came out that he was receiving CPR for a good 15 minutes. It looks like, and then was taken to trauma. The game was temporarily suspended, and then when news that they were taking him away to the medical center and all that. Then coaches met, players met, and then they decided to cancel the game. Although the NFL, I gotta say the truth here, it looked like the NFL wanted the players to take mini commercial and be back after like a bullpen session, Marty.
Yep.
It's a bullpen
Yep.
session. Okay, you whatever. Boom, it's a bullpen session, and they didn't. Who knows if they're gonna play it tomorrow? My gut is telling me they're going to force the players to play it tomorrow. I don't know what you say, Marty. Do you agree with that?
Uh, I it wouldn't surprise if they were to play it tomorrow, because if they are going to fit this game in, they can't play Wednesday or Thursday, because then you're asking for these guys to turn around and play on Sunday again.
Well, there's Saturday and then Sunday games. There's 2 Saturday games they announced already, so
Yeah,
you could
I
technically.
unless they somehow arrange the schedule where they play this game maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and then the Sunday game gets postponed a few days as well, and arrange whatever would happen with the playoffs there. I don't know how they would do it.
Here's the problem with that, and I'll be honest with you. I don't know the NFL scheduling or whatever, but I do know this: tonight's game, let's say they can't play it Tuesday or whatever. Then Saturday they already have. Sunday the New England's supposed to come into Buffalo. I don't know who's playing Cincinnati. That's Sunday. They could move it to Monday night, but they can't because Monday night is the college football national championship game. So we're gonna talk about if they move this, they're moving it to Tuesday. If the
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking, Joe. I was thinking if they play us Wednesday, Thursday, move that to Tuesday. Cincinnati is playing the Ravens on Sunday, so
Well,
they could
that
move.
could be a big game for
Yeah,
if the Buffalo
exactly. So
Bills beat Cincinnati. If the Buffalo Bills beat Cincinnati, so that's a game for the first place, Cincinnati and Baltimore, and Buffalo needs to win on Sunday against New England to capture first place overall. So there's a lot of moving parts in
yeah,
this.
they're gonna have to figure this out and sit down and see if they can push this off a couple days, and then allow both these teams have a few more days off after, you know, like you said, Monday's the national game in college football. Move it to Tuesday, and then both of these teams are supposed to play again. If they were in the playoffs, would be the following Sunday, correct, or Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday or Sunday. If you're going to play Tuesday, they're going to play Sunday. They're not
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
play
So
Saturday.
that would be put them right back on schedule for that. So they're gonna have to sit down and figure this out. If they decide to play tomorrow, hopefully Damar's out of the woods and everything is normal with him. Yes, they're gonna have to play the game at some point. Tonight was not the time to finish that game. That's all I know is tonight was not the night to finish that game, and the schedule the game should have been called. You know, I'll call even 15 minutes after the fact, not an hour after the fact.
Unbelievable there. But and I gotta I gotta give kudos to the Buffalo Bills, the coach and the coach of Cincinnati and the players, coming up to
Yep,
each other and saying sorry and condolences, because these guys hit. When you play football, they hit. And there's
yep,
but at the end of the day, you don't want to see anybody, be it a football player, be it anybody, going for CPR in the middle of a field. And talk about the fans, the 70,000, 80,000 fans tonight, all of them, and cheering, for Cincinnati. It's a big game and they score a touchdown,
yep.
but just going dead silence, seeing something's going on here. What's going on here? And even if it's Buffalo, if it's Cincinnati, if it's whoever, something's going on. And they stay quiet because they didn't inform the crowd to an hour after that it's postponed. So
Yeah, it was like I said, it to me, after everything was cleared off of the field, it should have been determined that this game was not gonna carry on, especially when he left the field not breathing on his own.
it's remarkable to see, and you know, just let's hope and pray Damar Hamlin gets out of there. Football is secondary. Who
Yep.
cares? They play the game. They don't play the game or whatever. And Skip Bayless, whatever. I Skip Bayless. I know he likes the Cowboys. If this happened to a Dallas Cowboy, would this game should be postponed or whatever? Come on, enough with Skip Bayless and all that. I urge Skip Bayless to come on here if he wants to really, really have a talk. I'll put this guy in his place. All right, Marty. I'll put him in his place. Now, Marty, uh, let's get to the most important thing in this world is life.
Yep.
When you deal with life, nothing else matters. Football, hockey, soccer, sports, it's life. This guy, I know he doesn't have a wife or a kid, but he has a mom, he has a dad, and all that. Imagine, and we're both, dads, like I mentioned. Imagine what the mother's going through.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very stressful time from watching that happen to to at the hospital riding over. I know mom rode over in the ambulance, I believe, is what they said on air,
Yeah.
and it's just a you can't imagine that feeling. You really can't. That your kid is injured, hurt to this degree is
Injured,
just
hurt is one thing.
heartbreaking.
This
Yeah.
is life or death.
Yeah,
Can't
to this
breathe.
degree is just heartbreaking. Like you know how you feel when your kid breaks a bone. This is something where her kid might not come out of this. So hopefully, it does all positive vibes towards him and his family, and hopefully he comes out of this with no side effects, able to live a healthy life, and playing football will be secondary to getting him back on his feet.
I just want to see if I have any updates on him. Here's one. Okay. On No, no further update on him. Just his vitals are back to normal. They put him to sleep. They're breathing tube down his throat, so he's breathing on his own. And they're currently running tests, so it's not out of the woods yet, and that's good news. And but even you know, forget about football for a second. How do you sleep? You're in Cincinnati. You're a Buffalo Bill. You're in Cincinnati. You got to go back to your hotel room. How do you sleep? And you
I
want
guess all of them headed over to the hospital. That's where I'm guessing. A lot of them will
yeah,
spend most of the night there, sitting in the waiting room, hoping to get any type of news out of there about his condition. Then they'll go back and they'll be up thinking about it. They really will. All they'll be thinking, you know, it could have been them that easily. It could have been one of them that this happened to. So all these thoughts are going to be going through their heads as to uh, the whole sequence of things that happen, and it'll be a tough night's sleep for almost every one of those players if they go back to the room. Like a lot of them will stay at that hotel all night until they get some type of update.
All right, I'll leave it to you, Marty. Also, I just want to say today, Martina Navratilova, tennis icon, got diagnosed with throat and breast cancer.
Yeah.
So our thoughts and prayers are with her also. Marty, anything else that you want to touch on before we close this breaking news edition? I haven't done a breaking news edition
No,
like
it's
this
been a
ever.
while. It's not the the breaking news we would
Yeah.
usually do. That's for sure, right? But hopefully everything goes well overnight with Damar and he gets uh, on the road to recovery. Who knows how long it's going to take? But it was tough. Like I was watching the World Junior game. Bedard just scored that goal, and then I clicked over and I saw what was going on there. It's just a totally different high. Like you go from a real high of watching Team Canada win to this low of watching this happening now on a football field. So sports is can change that fast.
And just since the show hasn't been too positive, I'll just close on that. Connor McDavid scoring the goal in overtime and beating 4-3 Slovakia. They played the U.S. on Wednesday, 6:30 semifinal, Canada U.S. But what a goal for Bedard! If
that
haven't
was
seen
that
that,
was unbelievable goal. I could he went there was four guys on the ice for Slovakia. He went through all four of them. The three got defenders and the goalie is still
this
looking
guy
for his
hit the
jock
post.
strap.
He hit the post 4 times,
Yeah,
and it's
he's
like he took. It's like when you play basketball, and Michael Jordan. I'm going to take over this game. Give me
yeah.
1-on-5, and
I
that's
honestly
what he did.
thought that game should have been like if it wasn't for Slovak's goalie, um, the way he stood on
Shot
his
for
head.
50-25 or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was just insane. And then the game almost ended a minute or so before
Yeah,
that when I think it was Milik that was in net for Canada,
yeah,
made two big saves to keep that game still going, and comes down, he pulls that move, and that was an unbelievable goal to end it, to send them to face the U.S. on Wednesday.
yeah. So that leaves it on that note. But again, scary situation in Cincinnati. The game of the year was supposed to happen tonight, Monday Night Football, between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. Buffalo winning 6 in a row, Cincinnati winning 7 in a row. Midway through, about I think 6 minutes, 5:58 left to go in the first quarter. Cincinnati up 7-3. Damar Hamlin was making a tackle on Higgins, and everything normal. And then he came back up, and and if you saw it, you saw that play. He fell almost on top of like a Cincinnati Bengal player,
Yep.
and nobody knew what was happening. And then it came out that he needed CPR and all that. Now he's you know breathing through a tube, everything, and they're doing tests and all that. The NFL first delayed the game and they postponed the game. In my estimation, they should not play tomorrow, but I believe they are going to force the players to play tomorrow. All right, Marty. Any final comments and tell everybody how they could get a hold of you? Thank you for appearing on Breaking News.
Yep. No, just like I said, hopefully it all turns out positive for this situation. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at OldLefty22.
All right. Again, this has been breaking news on the Fired Up Network. Prayers and thoughts to Buffalo Bills safety number 3, Damar Hamlin. And if there's any news tomorrow regarding Damar, I know I will be here. Marty may not because he's has other obligations. I can't use Marty for 24 hours. Maybe I should. But anyways, thanks a lot. Have a great evening.